Alright, I figure this is a good video as to try out my new microphone I just bought. Those who know me know I am not a fan of DeSantis. I don't really like him. He's done, he's, there's a long list of things I can do on him. Basically, he's a mini tyrant. He kind of is. He gives great speeches, but if you look at his actions, he doesn't do the same thing of what he says. He's very much Bush Senior 2.0. Very much. I mean, he even when he was first up and running was saying stuff like, Bush is my idol. He's been deep state for a long time. He's got a lot of deep state connections. I'm not a big fan of DeSantis. Anyways, so DeSantis just put in a wonderful new law, Florida SB 1438, which it's not a bad law. Again, I don't like government doing things, but at the same time, it basically bans children from going to any event where sexual actions are mimicked. Basically, if two people are humping each other on stage, stuff like that, anything like that, children aren't allowed to be there. Problem is, how broad the banning is. Well, basically, it's slapped the 18 logo, the plus 18 logo, on a lot of things that didn't used to be and aren't 18. So a lot of people, and this is where even some of my friends will get a little, the furry community. The furry community, you'd spend 10 seconds online, you're going to get an opinion on the furry community. If you're already online, you have an opinion on the furry community. You're seeing the state law reflected in my glasses. Oh well, I don't care enough to actually flip it around or not. But that's basically what you're seeing. You're seeing state law reflected in my glasses. But anyways, because I decided to go through and read a lot of because originally this first brought up to me from Johnny B. I love Johnny B. He's a great commentator. I normally listen to him for Second Amendment stuff and for his Spicy Friday, because Spicy Friday's hilarious and it makes me feel better. Do I agree with everything Johnny B says? Heck no. I shouldn't. Do you agree with everything I say? No, you better not. You can agree with some of the things I say. That's great. I'm fine with that. But don't agree with everything I say. Agree with some of the things I say. But yeah, basically, so the SB 1438, Protection of Children Act. That's a great sounding name. Now, normally when government puts a name on a bill, like the Inflation Reduction Act, it usually does the exact opposite. I'm going to, hope that it doesn't. We're going to read it. But so normally, because the Inflation Reduction Act, well, it increased inflation by 100-fold. You can just look at the price of eggs before and after the Inflation Reduction Act. It was really bad. It is bad. It's been one of the major causes of inflation. On and on and on. That's basically, when I was going to college, again, this is going to be tons of tangents because it all has a point, but they build together. One of the things that I was going to college for was become a teacher. Definitely history focused. I love history. I was thinking about becoming a history professor even, and working in collegiates. But anyways, looking through all that education stuff, No Child Left Behind. Well, that left a lot of children behind. In fact, I was one of the children screwed over by No Child Left Behind. Thanks a lot for that, Bush. And just on and on it goes. There hasn't... They tend to... Whenever they pass a law, let's just say the bureaucracy tends to screw things up more than it ever tends to fix things. But anyways, let's look at the Florida Senate SB 1438 Protection of Child Act. I'm already massively distrustful because I already don't trust the government, and it's protection of children. But okay, protection of children. Prohibiting a government entity from issuing a permit or otherwise authorizing a person to conduct a performance in violation of specified provisions. This is the first breath, so that's all one thing. Prohibiting a government entity from issuing a permit or otherwise authorizing a person to conduct a performance in violation of specific provisions. Now let's look at these specific provisions because that was the first breath. Providing criminal penalties, that was placed in a, authorizing the divisions of hotels and restaurants of the Department of Business and Professional Regulation to fine, suspend, or revoke the license of any public lodging, establishing, or public food service establishment if the establishment admits a child to an adult live performance. Right there, that wording, an adult live performance. That's a really broad term because technically that could just mean that there's an adult live on stage. It doesn't mean that it's an adult pointed performance. It's just their adult live performance. There's a legalese right there. That just means it's an adult live on stage. And so technically, I don't think that they're going to do this. I hope not. We'll see when it first actually goes to court. Because that's really when a lot of this will get cleared up. When it first hits court, that's when a new bill or law really gets defined. It's out. The problem is nobody wants to be that first one that hits the court. Anyways, specify. So we had a pause. They put in a semicolon. That's a pause. Now they're specifying. Specifying that the Division of Alcoholic Beverages and Tobacco of the Department of Business and Professional Regulation is given full power and authority to revoke or suspend the license of any person issued under the beverage law when it is determined or found by the division upon sufficient cause appearing that he or she is maintaining a licensed premises that admits a child to an adult live performance. Breath and pause. Oh, okay. Adult alcohol, beverage, and tobacco Department of Business says, I don't think children should be around alcohol anyways. Or tobacco, to be fair. So that just basically places that children can't go into bars, but also the Division of Alcohol, Beverages, and Tobacco Department of the Divisions of Businesses and Professional Regulation is basically the group of the government. Yes, it's got that long of a title because welcome to the bureaucracy. The needs of the bureaucracy are expanding to support the needs of the bureaucracy. F you to government. Is basically, say again, an adult live performance. Prohibiting a person from knowingly admitting a child to an adult live performance, etc. So here's the problem. Okay, so it's filed. Okay, here's the problem. They do not clarify at any point in this bill what the heck an adult live performance is. Now, we can go, oh, well, Joe, an adult live performance is a performance meant for adults. No, that's not what it says. Legalese here. Legalese here. That's not what it says. It says an adult live performance. It's not stating, so like from Johnny B said, and truth be told, even Ron Santis says, it bans from watching sexual acts. That's not what it says. It's not here. Those words are not used. It does not say entertainment of an adult variety. Doesn't say that. It doesn't say entertainment pertaining to adult. Doesn't say that. Doesn't say entertainment involving sexual actions. Doesn't say that. It says adult live performance. Technically, according to the way that is written, and we'll see when the first law hits, because that's when all this will start to get clarified, and we'll start to see the law change. According to this, the way it's worded, you take your kid to a Britney Spears concert, you just broke the law. According to this, the way it's worded, you take your kid to a Joko the Clown show so they can watch it. Well, that clown is an adult doing a live performance. You just broke the law. This is why I hate government, and this is why I hate the bureaucracy. The way this is worded, the Protection of Children Act doesn't protect children. The way it is worded, they can arrest you. Why? Yes. You take your child to a comedy routine, a child-friendly... You take your children to the Wiggles. Technically, you just broke the law according to the way this is written. Legalese, right here. An adult live performance. It doesn't clarify what an adult live performance is. There is no clarification anywhere on this. Last Action, Chapter 223, Senate Bill 1438. The act relating to the protection of children creates the defining of the term governmental entity prohibiting a government adult live performance, specifically that of specific violated Constitution and immediate serious dangers to public health. Okay, so here's the full bill. That is the bill on the Florida Senate government tab. That is the I shouldn't have done this. Oh well. That government tab right there. That's the government tab that it's on. So you know I might be pulling your leg. So I clicked the PDF, and now we'll look at the full thing as it was done. We'll see if they ever at any point clarify, because as the bill is written, you take your child to Britney Spears concert, you take your child to Jocko the Clown. So let's see if they ever at any point clarify, because this is the bill itself. That's the bill on the website. So this is what you would look at if you were just looking things up. That's the FloridaSenate.gov session bill. All right, an act returning to the specifying the divisions of. Okay, so that none of this is different. So let's take a look at that. So let's look at this. We're now going to look at public act. Florida statute is created to read. 1. As used in the section of the term government entity. Okay, so here's the clarifications. We're going to go through them now. Government entity means any state, county, district, municipal officer, department, division, board, bureau, commissioner, or any separate unit of government created or established by... It's the bureaucracy. So basically, government entity means the government and the whole freaking bureaucracy that is. That tentacles our lives. I hate that they have to do this. I hate that they do this, not just that they have to. A government entity may not issue or permit or otherwise authorize person to conduct a performance in violation. Okay? If a violation occurs for a lawfully issued... So if a violation of this happens for a lawfully issued permit or other authorization, the individual who has issued the permit or other authorization commits a misdemeanor. So if someone issues a permit, they get a misdemeanor. The division may fine, suspend, or revoke the license if any lodging establishment or public food establishment of the establishment admits a child to an adult live performance. Okay, so you get in trouble if you let the child into your adult live performance. You have to clarify it. Maybe they will. We've got half a page left. A violation of this subsection constitutes an immediate serious danger to public health, safety, or welfare. So they consider this a danger or misdemeanor. Notwithstanding, subsection 1 of the division may issue a $5,000 fine for an establishment's first violation of the subsection. So they're going to fine you. So that's the minimum. It's a minimum fine of $5,000. Notwithstanding the subsection, the division may issue a $10,000 fine for the second or subsequent. So $10,000 from then on out. It's a $10,000 fine. Section 3, paragraph 1 is added to subsection 1 of section of 5. So this is added on. Revoke. So this was one of the amendments they put onto it before passing it. Revocation and suspension of license power to subpoena. The division is given full power and authority to revoke or suspend the license of any person holding a license under beverage law when it is determined or found by the division upon sufficient cause appearing of. So basically they're saying we can take away your license if maintaining a license premises admits a child to an adult live performance. If a child comes to your... Again, we've yet to clarify... We're getting near the end, and we've yet to clarify what the heck an adult live performance is. A violation of this paragraph constitutes an immediate serious danger to public health. So they're saying admitting a child to an adult live performance, we've yet to clarify if this was like a strip club or adult sexual thing. I can understand, but we've yet to clarify. This can be anything from a strip club to Jocko the Clown to the Wiggles. We've yet to clarify. Oh, here we go. Finally, clarification. As used in this section, the term adult live performance. This is under section 4, subparagraph 827.111, section A. So this is the third page underneath. We finally have what an adult live performance is. All right, means any show, exhibition, or presentation in front of an audience, a live audience, which in whole or in part depicts or simulates nudity, sexual contact, sexual excitement, or specific sexual activities, or any terms defined in S847.001, any lewd conduct, lewd exposure, or prosthetic or imitating genitalias or breasts. When it, and then each one of these, predominantly appeals to a prurient, shameful, or morbid interest. So if you use anything to create a shameful or morbid interest, again, I hate the word shameful in legalese because it's broad. Anyways, is patently offensive. I hate offense in law. I take offense to you existing, Ron DeSantis. You're now illegal. That was a very broad, but you get my point. To prevailing standards in the adult community of this state as a whole with respect to what is suitable material or conduct for the age of the present. So basically the government gets to decide, basically this right here, number 2, so subsection A, subsection 2 of legalese, under the definition of what an adult live performance is the government gets to decide. Taken as a whole, is without serious literary, artistic, political, or scientific value. That right there is a broad... So, if there's sexual conduct that's happening that you claim is artistic, which Drag Queen Story Hour claims, they claim that it's artistic. Boom, right there. Drag Queen Story Hour is not banned anymore under that precedent. Again, this is not legal advice because it's, if it happens, it's going to go under lawsuit. But that's an argument I could make as a lawyer under that law. Again, I'm only halfway done, but that's an argument I could make as a lawyer. I'm not stating that's the law because we won't know until the first lawsuit hits. We never know until the first lawsuit hits, really. It could be black and white, but until it gets all the way to the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court makes its superior case, the interpretation of the law is up to a jury and lawyers. So until then, that's where we're at. Taken as a whole is with knowingly. So this is the definition. So that's adult live performance. So an adult live performance is something that has nudity, sexual contact, sexual excitement, specific sexual activities that is a prurient, shameful, morbid interest, or has children present. Okay, but I don't know why that... unless it needs to have literary art. Well, it says serious. So that, again, we'll know when the first actual lawsuit hits. Literary, artistic, political, or scientific value for the age of the child present. So now that we've finally defined adult live performance, well, I don't know about Britney Spears, but at least the Wiggles is back on. Problem is, I don't really know. Anyways, the character and content of any adult live performance described in the section which is reasonably susceptible of examination by the defendant and the age of the child. A person's ignorance of a child's age or a child's misrepresentation of his or her age or a bona fide belief of a child's consent may not be raised as a defense. I don't like that one for various reasons, but that might come up in an entirely different video if anybody cares and I go into it. Basically, ignorance of a child's age. I agree. A lot of the times people claim they were ignorant of a child's age. And that one's a scary place to get to, but you've also got people who have... The problem is there's been certain cases where someone who has been over the age, 20, something, whatever, was lied to by a 17-year-old who claimed they were 18. Now, there are a lot of places, but the sex law is a dark and murky place, and like I said, really it comes down to a jury and a lawyer and a judge. That's really what decides these legal cases, not really the law. The law just gives us the backbone, but it's the courts that really do the nitty-gritty. And a person may not knowingly admit a child to an adult live performance. All right, so the fact that they finally actually, 3 pages in, define Let me find it again. Yep, what an adult live performance is. Okay, they finally defined it. They should have defined it in the apologize. They should have defined it in the bill, because you can do that. But, okay, so we finally know what an adult live performance is. Plugging that into the thing, again, it might still include Britney Spears. Some people think that's a little sexual, but actually that's the problem. How broad this could be, because technically Britney Spears still falls under this. Because you could still claim that Britney Spears is sexual excitement. And that's also part of the problem. Is what sexually excites me doesn't sexually excite you, and what sexually excites you doesn't sexually excite Steve, and what sexually excites Steve doesn't sexually, that's the problem there too. It's very broad, it's very vague. I understand where they're going. It looks like they're doing something. The problem is, I don't like the government having to do this. Really, technically, it's already illegal. There's already a law about this stuff. It's, child predation law on the federal scale. I don't like laws on laws on laws on laws on laws. There's already several laws that already do this. That's part of the problem why this is technically grandstanding. We'll see what happens when it actually hits court, because really... Anyway, so why the furries, why the furries are so upset about this is because one of their huge new events in Florida, in fact, all the events now in Florida, are becoming 18 plus. This is the statement by megaplexcon.org, which is doing one of the hugest furry conventions in Florida. At least I consider it one of the biggest. Many have raised concerns about recent changes in the Florida legislation. After reviewing Florida SB 1438, most likely they had one of their lawyers do it, because most big conventions have lawyers. It has been decided that for legal reasons and protection of the attendees of our venue and our overall convention, Megaplex 2023 attendees now must be 18 years of age at the time of registration pickup. Megaplex has welcomed younger fandom members and their families since its inception, and making this change, I can understand, was very difficult. The code of conduct has been updated to reflect this change, and emails are going out to those affected. While this change impacts the 2023 convention, it is unsure if this will have to continue for future years, because we haven't seen it hit law yet. It's just they don't want to be the one that ends up being taken to court. That's why they're like, boom, we'll just put 18 on it. Because really, and that's the thing, is that, so if you've spent 15 seconds online, you know that there's a huge sex portion of the furries. Most furries don't like them, because they give the rest a bad name. Technically, I'm a furry. I don't have a fursuit. I wouldn't mind one. I like playing dress up, but I usually play a dwarf. Can you tell? But fursuits don't bother me. Are there some of them that do nasty in the fursuits? Yeah. There's some people that do nasty in armor as well. I mean full plate. Does that mean that full plate is now sex gear? And if you say yes, I'm going to beat you with a stick. I will find you and I will beat you. Especially since I know most of the people that watch, I know all 5 of you that watch my videos. Except for randomly, randomly I hit the algorithm and I get hundreds of people. I'm like, who the freak are you guys? Anyways. The problem is, so yeah, after legal review, it's been concluded that this does not affect us as a convention is held in a private venue. We are talking with the hotel about the possibility of offering general neutral restrooms and yada yada yada. But basically, the furry fandom has always been massively self-policing. The amount of pedos, I probably shouldn't have said that. I should have said peas or whatever, because I don't care. I'm not monetized. Hi, YouTube. Don't monetize me anyways. I make my money elsewhere. So, the amount of pedos, bestiality, just that the furry fandom itself repeatedly and routinely finds, captures, and kicks out, gives the information to police, yada yada. Sadly, some of the stuff that the fandom of furries considers CP, the police don't, and that's a murky gray area I'm not going to get into. But at least not in this video. But the amount of self-policing they do was to stop this from happening. Sadly, the LGTV community, or LGBT, I'm not monetized. I don't care. YouTube, crunch this, whatever. The the alphabet crew that you know I'm talking about have a horrible tendency to not police their own. And sadly, that's fallen over onto all these other communities that have been trying really hard to do so. In fact, repeatedly, and that's kind of why like a lot of people that are on the fringe or in it or what have you don't like to be considered part of the community, in fact, abhor the community, is because of stuff like this. Because they tend to defend and pull their carts around their bad actors, which really ticks a lot of the outside people. It's like, oh, you know, that it's why so many people, when they get caught, they're like, oh, well, I'm gay, or oh, I'm trans now, or I'm bi, is because it is a get out of free card most of the time, sadly. Look how many people, like, we're looking in on their sexual harassment stuff, then out of nowhere, well, I'm gay. And then, boom, it disappears. They still sexually harassed people, but apparently we're not allowed to do anything about it anymore on the internet, or call the bad behavior out, because they're part of the LGTV community. And they can do no wrong. And I don't like that. There's a lot of really bad trans actors. There's a lot of bad actors that pretend to be trans because it allows them to be bad actors. And you can usually tell who they are. I'm really willing to call out their names on some other videos, because there's a lot of bad actors that are like, I'm trans. It's like you threw on a wig or you grew your hair long. You're not, or you shaved, or you put on a face beard, or what have you. You're using this as a cover for bad behavior. Even if you really are trans, it don't matter. You're using that as a cover for bad behavior. We should still be able to call you out on your bad behavior. But it doesn't happen with the LGTV community. It doesn't. The bad behavior people get excused simply because of what they are. And they do. I've seen it. A lot of people have seen it. You can go out and ask. We've seen it, and that's the problem. That's why it's killing so many. I mean, for crying out loud, when you're told that you can't have children at an event, at your sex party, so you shut off your sex party, that tells me something. I mean, for crying out loud, when the Florida Pride Parade were told that they weren't allowed to have children at their Pride Parades, they went, oh, well, there's no point in, and then canceled. I was like, that's a tell. That's a bad tell. That's scary. That's, whether or not it's a bad tell, that's giving people the idea that the whole reason you were having a pride parade was to either indoctrinate or do bad things to children. That's bad. Like the furry community, when you're not allowed to have children at your event, they went, well, okay, I guess we're not allowed to have children at our event. We're sorry. We usually do, and they're usually perfectly fine and safe. Like, the fact that there are stories, they're the same few stories that repeatedly go around. FurCon. Ooh. Rainforest. But they're called out. It's the same stories called out over and over again, because the furry community polices. Do they always catch them? No. Does it take them a while to catch them? Yes. But they police their own. That's why I don't have a problem with furries. They police their own, and they police them well. And I really wish, if we did that more, we wouldn't have laws like this. We shouldn't have laws like this anyways, because I don't like the government taking rights for them to do stuff like this. Literally taking a right we have. Now, Do I think kids should be at a lot of these events? No, I don't. Furry events, most fur cons are perfectly child friendly. Drag queen story hour, I've gone. I was a drag queen. In college, I went to two drag queen tournaments. I dressed up and did one, and it was fun. It was not child friendly. The amount of really really weird jokes that happened, but was it like really it was a bunch of gay and straight people being weird. It's really what it was. That's something you do in college. You be weird. Were there any children at our event? No. Would we have let them be at the event? No. I wouldn't have been able to make the horrible jokes that I made. They were horrible jokes. They were hilarious, but they were horrible jokes. Actually, no. So one of them I actually got first place. The other one, I got beat out by someone who, but much better job than me. Now, to be fair, I had this beard, but that's another way you can kind of tell we're having fun. And really, truth be told, adults should be able to have fun. That's why kids aren't allowed to bars. It's a place for adults to be without kids for a little bit. We don't need kids at these events. It's okay to be without the kids for a little bit and to make off-colored, whatever. Terminology, words. I've been awake way too long. I can't sleep anymore. Woo! We're getting into some other. I'm not diving into that right now. I'm not diving that into right now. It's an entirely different video. This is me ranting on why I don't like George. Don't like George Bush either. Why I don't like Santis. But yeah, this is a law that didn't need to be. It's a law that really we as people shouldn't have needed. We don't, especially since I've seen the drag. Like he's like it was a state. No, it wasn't. Don't lie to yourself like that. It was not child friendly. Don't bring those. It's like bringing it. Yeah, true. It is like the grand majority of the time. Is there nothing bad happening at the bar? Yeah. Should you bring the kid to it anyways? No. Should I think you go to jail if you accidentally bring a kid to a bar? Or not accidentally. You bring a kid to a bar and they stay in the corner? No. I don't think you should. Like if the worker or the owner brings his kid, something like that. I don't. Stuff like that is stupid. Do I think a kid should drink? No. Do I understand why there's a drinking age law? Yes. I do. But then again, that's also not one of the things protected in the Constitution. I'm a huge believer in the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and the rule of law. That's why I'm going to follow this law. I'm not happy with it. I don't live in Florida, so I don't have to follow this law. Never mind. I'm not going to follow this law. I don't live in Florida. If it's passed federally, will I follow it? Yes. Because I'm a law-abiding citizen, even when I don't agree with the law. Will I fight against the law I don't agree with? Heck yes. I will rage. Is this one that I think needs to be fought against? Yes and no. We'll find out when it hits the first lawsuit. That's part of the problem. I don't like... There was stuff like this already on the books that should have been pushed, should have done. In truth, the community should have. We should have just ourselves more. Anyways. We should have. But it's fallen out of favor. My cat is telling me it's time to bed and is starting to throw stuff at me. So we'll find out if this microphone made it any better. If it does, awesome. It was a $10 microphone. I'm not going to cry if it doesn't. I've been working enough overtime. I can afford a $10 microphone. You have a wonderful and blessed day. This has been Joe the Masks, your dwarven rageaholic. Have a lovely day. Go have a Sprite or some sugary drink on me. Have a good one. No, not that. But come on, Joe. I'm good at technology.